So with our handsome Mr. Ethan, oh, Ethan says he's found some of the toys. So I wanted to dive into the toy exchange game. So he's right over there playing with the raccoon, which is kind of adorable. It's just like a plushy, squeaky friend. So with your handsome guy, obviously, there he comes. Hi, good job. Is the benefit of getting your baby, oh, good job, to practice a little bit with grabbing an item. Of course, he's like, food's silly. But let's say he's more toy driven. So remember, we want to get our dogs comfortable exchanging one toy for another. Rotation through items like this can be really helpful because if they don't know what it's like to let go of something they should have, how are they going to, again, exchange something they shouldn't? So ready? Mr. Handsome, what do you think? So let's say, for example, he starts playing with one toy, which he's so stinking cute. So he's playing with Mr. Raccoon, and let's say mid-play, you want him, he's like throwing him everywhere. He's adorable. So let's say mid-play with Mr. Raccoon, I might then get his attention and see if I can get him to come from Mr. Raccoon. Ethan, what's this one? Nice. Ready? Go get your toy. So the benefit of rotation through toys is for a lot of us, we tend to be the end of the game. So what I mean by that is we tend to take away the items that could be, of course, dangerous or toxic or just choking hazards. So, but sometimes the way we engage with our dogs actually makes us become the end of the fun or the end of the game. And then the next time we come near and the dog maybe has something they shouldn't because it's, again, a safety issue, when we go to approach them, it turns into keep away, or that turns into a gulping behavior, or at times even builds into resource guarding. That was very nice. So like right now, Mr. E is having the greatest time with Mr. Raccoon, which is just adorable to watch anyway. What a good job. But we may find, let's say he was playing with one toy. I'm going to see if he wants to try this one. What do you think, mister? What's that toy? Oh my goodness, go get that toy. So getting him to go from one thing to another is a great way to build up that coming near you or you going near them in the game doesn't mean that these things all get plucked away. So did you find the toy? I mean, the chew. Oh yeah, you found the snack now. Good job. So we may have moments where if Mr. E is practicing with toys he's allowed to have, which is great. If he tends to break toys, and that's a very normal dog behavior, but if you're finding he's just breaking items, this could be another great way to go through some of your toy practice and have it be engaging type play with both of you versus just solo play where he might potentially break the item. The other option too, like let's say he's playing with Mr. Raccoon and we know he's a huge fan of the raccoon. We could then go from that to maybe this little toy and get him to practice playing by himself with the raccoon and then exchange for one item to come play with you. So again, the reason this can be so beneficial is we want our dogs to think that we can be part of the fun, but also that grabbing and letting go does have value. For a lot of dogs, again, once they finally catch the thing, they want to play with it on their own or potentially break it apart. So we want him to start thinking that, again, this play with us could be another great way to build in those other skills we were hoping for. So coming when called, redirecting off of a distraction, be it another animal or critter, and then also, for example, working on maybe loose leash walking. So as Mr. E is now playing with this one, I could try, ready, Ethan, do a little bit with, he's like, lady, I'm busy, with a little find it. See if he goes into eating some of the food. Again, for taking a break and taking a little snack moment doesn't mean I make the toy leave. So if every time I did, he's like, take that. If every time I plop food down and I took the thing away, it becomes a little bit of a trickery moment. So a lot of times, like let's say the puppy grabs the toy and they're playing with it, guess what? Having a few extras or some toys you can rotate through can make it then seem valuable to him to, even if he does capture the critter, he can let go of that thing that had some great value and redirect to the next item and rotate that way. So you'll see that he tends to really love it when you can play with him and the toy comes alive and you're playing together. Because let's say he caught the critter and now it's again gonna not really do much, but he's doing a great job. But let's say now he has the thing. Now I could go, ready, Ethan, good job. And I could redirect him onto this next toy. So the benefit of rotation is that it gets your puppy to be able to letting go. Doesn't mean the game is over or that it's confrontational or sort of sad. So ready, we'll do a little grabbing of the item. So let's say maybe he's playing with this one. Then I might make Mr. Raccoon come alive again. Ready? And they can go grab Mr. Raccoon. So this is another great way to expend some mental and physical energy. You can see he got himself all winded and all he did was frolic around a few minutes with the items. So your benefit of having things down, and if let's say this is hard with multiple dogs, I know he's got a sibling at home, is I would recommend to still practice individual time too. And then of course together time is fine. But if let's say items like this are harder for him, nice job, sir, we would want to make sure that, again, he's not just either being the bully or vice versa and always swiping things from their siblings. We do want to make sure, ready? Ethan, nice. So right there, he was actually playing with one of the toys, and I was able to get him to bounce back and do a little check-in for his name recognition. So I'm jackpotting him right here because for him, food doesn't seem as valuable, but then also to move away from a toy to check in with me is a really great step. He's doing a very nice job. So then we, of course, has his very favorite toy. Ready? Ethan, what's this? Ready? Take it. Oh, he's like, oh, it's stinky. He's like, who else was playing with that? Your BFF, Mr. Alston, was playing with it. You want to take it? Good job. So if, again, he likes it better when it wiggles, you could get some little engagement through some play and then work a few more little check-ins or some loose leash walking with play at the end. So ready, we might get his attention. He's maybe a little tired. We take a couple little steps. He's like, and that's probably as good as it gets. Ready? Take. He says, I'm already exhausted. So, but when you're practicing with him, remember we have discussed obviously short and sweet for greater success. If he's just a little bit pooped out, I feel like he used up all his great energy on the poor raccoon, so now he's a little tired. But you can also use, so like I know the raccoon might be out of range, but I'm going to bring him a little closer. So let's say your babe does a really great job with certain toys. Maybe use these ones as a reinforcement for skills you'd like to build up. If, again, he's a little tired, we can just make it, again, fun to grab for the item. And then ready, Ethan. See if I can get his attention. He's like, oh, but there's so many cool things. So obviously, if he's a little bit slow to respond, right there, yes. I could either help him by getting a little bit closer and see if I could get his attention from there. But the main goal to this game, and even if he doesn't do it all today because there's the train going by, yeah, weird. There's also, he was romping, he's probably a little tired, pooped out. And we may find for when we practice the toy exchange game, maybe he does a better job at home too, where he feels more comfortable, where he's more, again, in the groove there. Here, it can sometimes be a little distracting. There's the building, there's the funny noises, there's me as the distraction. But I'd say in general, for his comfort range from when he first started to now, not that he ever didn't do well, but he wasn't quite sure what the heck he was signed up for. So right now, Ethan has gotten much more comfortable. Ready? So I'm going to see if I can get his attention. Ethan. Yeah, nice job. Yes. Good job, Sarah. So again, a couple little tidbits. I'm breaking up his little bone snacks that I think are like fish into a couple little pieces for him. But he's really doing a splendid job. He says, lady, I'd really love to play with a flirt pole instead. So, but with the toy exchange game, guys, if your babes are ever struggling, start off with toys they enjoy, but don't lose their marbles over. So if your babe really has a challenging time with like chewy toys, like things that they try to gnaw on and sort of ingest, you may practice more with plushies or rope toys. So things that create some excitement, but don't throw them off the deep end. And then what you might do is add different venues of toys. So maybe in here there could be some bones, some chew items, some tuggies. He's like, lady, please give me my flirt pole. Oh, you're checking out the buffalo horns. Those look good too. So if let's say he was having a hard time with one item versus the other, make sure that when we're practicing, we don't become the end of the game or confrontational. So it's better to, if let's say your pup did grab something he wasn't supposed to have. So let's say he grabs a sock, a household item, like maybe a hand cloth or whatever, and you didn't love that, you could either all of a sudden bust out one of his toys that he really enjoys that he hasn't seen in a while to do an exchange, or you could see if you can get his attention, go into a nice big find it, there he goes with Mr. Raccoon, and then see if from the find it, if he goes to grab the find it, you could then nonchalantly pick up the inappropriate item. But remember, we by mistake tend to fuel the flames that we don't really want again later by sometimes making it more fun to do the thing we didn't like. Good job, sir. He's like, this raccoon, greatest day ever. Oh, you're so good. So, but when trying this in the household, if let's say out in the yard, there's almost no toy drive because his comfort range isn't there, start to build up some of these play moments in and around the indoor home environment and then transfer to maybe a little bit in the yard. Because I know for some of the babes, when you throw in some novelty, it can throw them off their game a little bit. So right here, I might go, Ethan. see if I can get his attention. He's like, lady, this toy smells very intriguing. So let's say I tried his name, no response. I might go a little bit closer. Nice, good job checking in. He's like, lady, I'm so over it. What if we bust out one of your hot dogs? That could be more delicious. So having a little bit of that trail mix will be helpful because there could be moments where one paycheck seems equivalent of the work and at other times it doesn't. So having that little trail mix of goodies, which everybody's been doing, has been splendid, because then depending on your puppy's comfort range or the environment and the stimulation around them, their food can be the value that might be needed to either keep that attention or gain those behaviors or reinforce those skills so they happen again much more readily. So maybe what we'll do, we'll take a little breather for Mr. Handsome, and we'll do a little bit with some other skills. I know he really wants the flirt pole. I moved it to a different section so he would not be so sad looking at the wall for it, but now he says it's in the closet, which is where it normally lives, and it's very sad. So, but we'll work a few more skills with Mr. E, and then we'll keep going and rolling with this lovely exercise. But I'll try a little bit with the flirt pole too with him again, because that's one of his favorites.